The M8 Greyhound, a light armored vehicle, became one of the most recognizable symbols of World War II, thanks to its outstanding characteristics and role on the battlefield. Developed in the United States in the late 1940s, it was designed to carry out reconnaissance missions, patrols, and maintain communication with other Army units. This armored vehicle proved to be an excellent example of engineering thinking of the time. The M8 was first introduced to the U.S. Army in 1942, and its design reflected the demands of the time. Light and maneuverable, the M8 Greyhound was equipped with wheels, allowing it to achieve higher speeds on roads compared to heavy tanks. Its armor was strong enough to withstand small arms fire and shrapnel, yet light enough not to reduce its mobility. The M8 Greyhound's armament consisted of a 37mm gun, capable of effectively dealing with light tanks and infantry fortifications. Although on the battlefield more powerful tanks could often withstand shots from the M8's gun, its role was to support larger forces and destroy enemy vehicles of medium and light armor. For its time, the M8 Greyhound was extraordinarily fast. Its maximum speed reached 96 km per hour, allowing it to quickly maneuver on the battlefield and perform reconnaissance tasks while avoiding direct confrontation with the enemy. This quality was especially useful during World War II, when fast and accurate intelligence often proved decisive. One of the key aspects of the M8 Greyhound's design was its large number of wheels. The armored vehicle was equipped with double wheels, enabling it to traverse various types of terrain, including dirt and sandy roads, and remain stable in conditions of rain and mud. The M8 Greyhound first entered combat in Africa in 1943, and its success in reconnaissance on the battlefield immediately drew attention. Its high speed and excellent maneuverability allowed it to quickly gather intelligence, which played an important role in the Allies' victories in North Africa. It was in this region that the armored vehicle demonstrated its best qualities, proving very useful for tasks on open terrain. The M8 was also actively used in battles in Italy, France, and other parts of Europe. In the Battle of Normandy, where its capabilities were fully revealed, the M8 showed its ability to move quickly across enemy territory, gather reconnaissance data, and destroy enemy positions and equipment. An important aspect of the M8's deployment was its use not only as a reconnaissance tool but also as mobile fire support. Although its primary weapon was not powerful enough to combat heavily armored vehicles, the M8 was used to eliminate light tanks, trucks, and provide support to infantry operating in urban areas. In addition to its role on the front lines, the M8 Greyhound was also used as a command and communication vehicle. This allowed for improved coordination between different units and provided faster information exchange, which was of strategic importance in complex military conditions. The M8 Greyhound earned recognition for its reliability and effectiveness in combat. It was capable of operating in a wide range of climates and geographical conditions, making it a versatile tool for the Army. This quality allowed it to serve in various theaters of operations and in many countries around the world. After World War II, the M8 Greyhound continued to serve in the armies of various countries. It was actively used in the Korean War, where it proved effective in reconnaissance and combat roles. Despite its armament becoming outdated compared to newer equipment, its maneuverability and mobility remained significant advantages. Despite its aging, the M8 Greyhound continued to be used until the late 1950s, and in some countries, even later. Its surplus and numerous modifications allowed it to remain in service, performing tasks related to reconnaissance, surveillance, and territory control. Even decades after the end of the war, it remained an important element of armed forces. The design of the M8 Greyhound was carefully thought out in accordance with the demands of the time, and its use continued in various forms into the late 20th century. Some units were used as training vehicles or for observation in military camps and conflict zones. At certain points in history, it was referred to as the Iron Horse on wheels, due to its ability to overcome difficult terrain at high speeds. Despite all its strengths, the M8 Greyhound also had its weaknesses. Its armor could not protect it from more powerful anti-tank weapons, and its limited armament prevented it from effectively combating more heavily armored vehicles. Nevertheless, within the context of its era and intended purpose, it proved to be an exceptional tool for performing its tasks. Today, the M8 Greyhound is a subject of collecting and restoration. Many historical societies and military museums around the world are proud to have this armored vehicle in their collections. The M8 Greyhound exhibits attract attention not only as an important element of military history but also as a symbol of speed, maneuverability, and battlefield effectiveness. This armored vehicle became not only a symbol of World War II but also an embodiment of how important the balance between firepower, mobility, and reliability was in combat conditions. The M8 Greyhound continues to be an example of well-thought-out engineering and inspires future generations to create more advanced military vehicles. In conclusion, it can be said that the M8 Greyhound left a significant mark in the history of armored vehicles. It demonstrated how crucial mobility on the battlefield is and how well-designed weapons can dramatically change the course of military actions. This armored vehicle became one of the symbols of its time, and its legacy continues to live on in the techniques and technologies used today. The M8 Greyhound, like other military vehicles of that era, played an important role in changing the concept of warfare. It proved to be indispensable on various fronts, and its effectiveness in reconnaissance and supporting military operations cannot be underestimated. Thanks to its design and versatility, the M8 Greyhound became one of those vehicles that had an influence on the development of armored technology in the decades that followed. The M8 Greyhound remained in service with many countries for many years after the end of World War II, and in some countries, its use continued until the late 1960s. Despite the appearance of new and more powerful vehicles, this armored car remained a valuable asset in the forces, providing support and protection on the battlefield. In conclusion, it is important to emphasize that the M8 Greyhound became not just an armored vehicle but an important part of the history of military technology. Its legacy continues to live on, and its successes in wars and conflict zones stand as an example of how well-designed equipment can influence the course of historical events.